This is Steven Soderbergh doing his now. For those people who are in the know, like film wise, might think, oh yeah, Steven Soderbergh. He did Ocean's 11. He did Traffic. He did Out of Sight. He's like one of those auteur kind of people. And you might have remembered hearing a couple of years back that he was retiring, and he did. And then he decided, you know what? No longer retired. I'm coming back in. But he seems to have come back into making films very much on his own terms and making films. I think usually with like a strapped down budget. And I think he gets good stars because stars want to work with him, even though they might not be paid what they might be paid to star in, say, a Marvel movie or something like that. And I feel like in his films, because he did Presence earlier this year, and this is like his second film in a matter of like 4 months that's being released. And he did Presence, and that was kind of like, you could see almost as if it was almost experimental in a way. He's like, oh, I wonder if I could take this one idea and stretch it out into a movie, and if I could give myself these restrictions, and if I could make a film. And there's an element of that with Black Bag, where I feel it's kind of like there's an idea that interests him, and he isn't really interested in, oh, let's put out this thing out and make it like massively commercial and make like, loads of explosions and all that kind of. He's not really interested in that. He's interested in an idea. And the idea with this is that you meet Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett, and they are a married couple who work in a spy organization. I don't think the spy organization is ever sort of like mentioned, but it's sort of like, implied it's like an MI5 James Bond type sort of agency. But this is a lot more so Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. So they're a married couple. They work within this agency, and he's kind of like the sort of lie detector. So if there's a mole, he's the guy that you would go to sort of, we need to rat out the mole because he can figure out when the people are lying to him and all that kind of stuff. So someone comes up to him. The main premise of the film is that they say, we have a leak, we have a mole, and there's a list. He has a list of 6 people who we've narrowed it down by it could be, and your wife is on the list. And so his wife is on the list, and it's all about this whole thing where she's a spy, he's a spy, and he's trying to figure out, is his wife involved in this? Is his wife the mole? Is his wife the one who actually does all this stuff? And it's called Black Bag because they have this whole idea where in this agency they have various people who are in relationships with each other. And because they might be working on something that's top secret and no one else is allowed to know. So if they say, oh, how's your day, dear? What happened with that? And if they say black bag, that means can't talk about that. It's in a black bag. Sorry, can't talk about that. So they have these very, very defined lines. And then the whole film becomes this cat and mouse game of him trying to figure out who the mole is and trying to figure out, is it my wife? Now, I think Soderbergh also has, when you talk about restrictions, I think he has a rule about making films that are not that much longer than 90 minutes, because Presence was around about 90 minutes. This is about 97 minutes, bang on. And so he's making almost sort of like old school films where it's like you go in there, 90 minutes, bish, bash, bosh, you're out. And I love him for it. I absolutely love him for it. So because this is a film where there are bits where they might have gone a little bit more into it and gone into, but he's just kind of like, no, this is what we're doing it. We're just going to go in this whole thing of spies trying to figure it out. One of the main action set pieces in this film is around the dinner table. It's people sat around the dinner table, and it's all about him trying to figure people out and pushing them and psychologically almost sort of torturing everybody at the table to try and get the truth out of them. So there's scenes like that are almost very 70s. They're almost sort of like 70s thriller, which I think, Sean, would appeal to you.
Yeah, I do like Soderbergh stuff, and most of the stuff I like. I think he did one called The Ghostwriter with the young Obi-Wan, like
with Ewan McGregor and Pierce Brosnan.
Ewan McGregor, yeah.
I don't think that was Soderbergh.
Was that not Soderbergh?
I don't think he might have produced or something like that.
Yeah,
but I remember the film. I remember the film, but I don't think he directed that.
Okay.
But speaking about which, Pierce Brosnan is in this film. So this film has a stacked cast. You've got Pierce Brosnan, you got Michael Fassbender, you got Kate Blanchett, you got Tom Burke, you got Marisa Abela, you got Reggae John Page, for all you Bridgerton fans out there. You've got Naomi Harris in there as well, and it's a bit low key. It isn't very shooty blow up sort of spy things. It's, as I said, it is a lot more of like, and for some people, even the denouement, for instance, when they find out who the mole is, because spoiler alert, they do find out who the mole is. It might be a bit low energy and might not be able to everybody's tastes, but I thought it was quite good. I would give it a 3 out of 5 because there were some bits where I felt like the the spy talk that they were given was giving talks of spy talk, spy talk, spy. Hang on, I didn't follow that. What the heck is going on? Who's doing what? Who's doing what? Who's doing what? Never mind. There's a film. Keep going, keep going, keep going. It gave me that kind of feel about it. But I would give it a 3 out of 5. But it is a high 3. I know some people would probably go a 4. But
and how was Fassbender? How was Fassbender?
I thought, okay, so
he did a sterling job, yeah.
Yeah, Fassbender was good. He was
Okay.
so he has how actors have different lanes. Like you have like for instance Nicolas Cage. You have quiet Nicolas Cage and you have manic Nicolas Cage. And so this is Fassbender. The character he's playing, George, is very very buttoned down. Wow. It's like very buttoned down. It's kind of like it's the kind of player that kind of person that he is perturbed when an eyebrow raises. That kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And there is one scene where I feel, and Sean, I think when you watch this film, you understand. There is one film that I think
I do plan on sort of catching it at some point.
Yeah, there's one scene I think that will really annoy you, because I feel like they kind of his reaction in a certain scene in a meeting with all the other characters. I'm kind of like, why don't you notice that there's something wrong? There's obviously something wrong. It's just not subtle. There's something wrong there. So yeah, I would give Black Bag a 3 out of 5.